Good morning, everybody. Hope you're all doing fantastically well on this Sunday morning. It is Connor here. We are back with another episode of hopefully the confirmation mill, as it looks very, very likely that Leeds United have at last acquired a signing. Multiple sources going around this particular story, so make sure you check in for this one. Please make sure you're liking the video, subscribing to the video, and commenting as always. Head on over to TikTok, head on over to our Discord as well, link will be in the description below. But of course, the Patreon where there's bonus content, and the memberships where you can become part of the clan. Shout out to Stu, who became part of the YouTube memberships yesterday. And make sure you check out SofaScore as well, everybody, where this player has got an entire profile. He's got an entire profile which you can analyse his accurate passing, his runs up and down the wing, how he compares to other players. It is well worth looking at this individual, his heat map as well. You guys know I love a heat map per 90 minutes. And SofaScore is free to download via the affiliate link, which is One Leeds. Link is in the description below. So, first of all, let's kick off with a little bit on yesterday. Leeds United drawing the game with Plymouth. We will have the three things that we learned about the game over on the Patreon immediately after this. But what did we learn? Well, I mean, I'm not going to get into it right now, but a few things we learned is, I mean, it comprises really, once again, in Leeds not being able to sort of finish off certain games. That was the disappointment of yesterday. Such a dominant half, with all respect to Plymouth, an easy half. And unfortunately, Leeds have now got into that swing of things where we've given it a much tougher ask now. You know, we've got to go to Plymouth. We know it's going to be arranged on an awful day where Leeds United and obviously the fans are going to have to head down there, and it's, you know, a 7-hour trip. Nobody wants to do it. We spoke to some Plymouth fans down at the ground yesterday. Nobody wants to make this trip. It's one of the longest trips you'll ever make in English football, so you're hoping that just doesn't disrupt our league form, because, you know, the FA Cup is what it is, but it's definitely lost its mystique, and I think that's quite unfortunate. But it has lost its mystique. That and the League Cup are almost a nuisance. You can get your Middlesbroughs where you make it into you know, the semi-finals, which is amazing. But the likelihood of winning the competition is just so small. And it's such a shame that it is that way nowadays. But the money in football makes it nigh on impossible to win the FA Cup in any competition when you've got these juggernauts, these financial juggernauts still within the competition. So for me, it's a great occasion, the FA Cup, and it's great getting as far as we can, but these replays are not what you want. You know, there's an argument that you'd rather go out than have a replay, and I think a lot of fans were saying that to me yesterday at the game. So yeah, interesting stuff to keep an eye on when it comes to Leeds heading there, and are we going to get the win? Are we going to lose the game? You know, it's all going to be up in the air, but what sort of side do Leeds put out when they're in the throes of more championship congestion? So yeah, but probably my standout yesterday, I would say was probably Jaden Anthony. Thought Jaden Anthony played really well. I was really happy as well. Really happy with what I saw in terms of his goal. I thought it was top draw, an elite goal. So shout out to him, and it was good to see his mother Donna getting the shout out as well. Which, and the fact he got booked was, I mean, what do you say? The letter of the law, but come on. Anyway, transfer news. Leo Yelder is a target for Sunderland. They want to get him wrapped up before the end of the window. It is a very Sunderland signing, sort of a young, unknown talent who they can sort of progress and then sell on for a higher fee a little bit later on down the line. The first time they did this with Leeds United was obviously Niall Huggins, but it looks like they're going to try and get a little bit of cover for their centre-back and left-back regions, which at this moment in time are very sort of, it's thin, isn't it, at Sunderland, and it's thin at Leeds United. So I think that's a little bit of the annoyance with me. It's like, let's not let another defender go, even though he's barely playing. It would be nice to just see Leo sort of integrated at some point, but I don't think that's going to happen. So he's right down the pecking order. So a move wouldn't make the most, you know, it wouldn't be horrendous for Leeds United. I think it's going to be interesting to see what club he goes to. I think Yelder will move, but is it going to be a permanent transfer? You know, there's probably a couple of others that I'd stick in there, to be honest. I do rate Ian Pervader as another one, but could we get a transfer fee for him? You know, can you get a transfer fee on the last day when a couple of teams are panicking and they want a central attacking midfielder? I can think of a few in the Championship who would love his profile. Came on yesterday, and I just don't think he's getting the minutes. Some of these players aren't getting the minutes, so those nice little jinky passes, that nice little side-to-side movement, that key ball that they can play, especially in those central positions, just aren't coming off because they're not getting enough minutes. It's difficult for them to really get that cohesiveness with other members of the side. I thought Nonto really struggled as well, but he looked like he'd lacked minutes. He lacked a lot of minutes yesterday. You know, he just seemed to be off in terms of runs he was making, the passes he was making. And that synergy is something that you develop with a side when you're playing week in, week out. And these players, not only are they not getting played, but they're not getting any exposure whatsoever aside from sort of 5 or 10 minutes, which is nowhere to develop a player really. So, and another one who's probably, you know, feeling a little bit, you know, sort of exposed to that is Yo Perot, you know, just completely, as I put paronymous yesterday, and you do wonder where his head's at. Hopefully he's okay with coming off the bench, but he's got like competition in his career now because, you know, I thought even when Bamford came on yesterday, we looked a little bit more lively. Perot obviously got the penalty for his great pressure penalty, and I'd never take that away from him. I think pressure penalties, you know, there's one man who I'd want in the squad on it, and it is Perot, above Somerville, above Strauch, above Bamford, obviously. But it's that exposure to minutes that you need, and that's the full circle we get with Leo Yelder. You know, is he going to get any minutes at Leeds? Probably not, you know, especially now that it's been hashed out a little bit with Charlie Cresswell. So Hashioka is a Japanese right back, and there has been so much interest in him over the past however many days. He's playing in Belgium right now. There's been interest from Genk. There has been a lot of interest from the Premier League as well. Luton Town were interested in him. Fulham were interested in him last season. He's a versatile right back who can play centre back as well. And apparently Leeds United, according to multiple sources, especially on that side, the Belgian side, a lot of Japanese sources saying it's done. It's a done deal. He's rejected everybody else. There's other clubs looking at him, as I've just mentioned, across the continent, and he's not having it. He wants to come to Leeds United, which just shows the pull that we've still got, which is great news. But apparently this one's just obvious. Apparently it's nearly done, and it's all about sort of crossing the T's and dotting the I's. So yeah, it seems to have moved quickly in the background. We've not had some of the journalists on our side confirming it, but I do remember on several transfers, you get a lot of the good. You know, you get Bild in Germany confirming Robin Koch. You know, you'd get Marca in Spain confirming your Llorentes. Sort of the equivalent is this Belgian publication that's put something out today. So you're expecting maybe our reporters to do something on it really quickly. The interesting part of it is the fact that the agency that Hashioka is with is Dan James's agency. So whether or not that's played a part in it, I don't know. Normally that's how it works. There's been several Leeds players who've had a very, very common connection and network when it comes to an agency. So yeah, really interesting to keep an eye on, everybody. I'd keep an eye on that one. It looks like that one's going to be, from according to multiple sources, signed, sealed, and delivered very, very soon. So maybe that's the signing that Leeds have gone and got. You know, maybe that's going to be the addition that we're going to see coming in, who can fill it at right back and centre back. And it looks like then you'll have the Jed replacement. You'll then have the Luke Ayling replacement as a long-term option. So yeah, I'm okay with it. You know, he looks like he's got some serious pedigree, real pedigree. He's got 2 assists already this season. I think he's got 2 goals. But there's a lot of hype around him. So yeah, it's going to be fascinating to see how this one wraps up, if this one's even a proper story. But it looks like, I think you can always tell, can't you? If it's just a speculative rumour, you'll get maybe one source just putting it out there. But when you're getting 3, 4 very decent sources on the sort of Japanese side and the Belgium side, or the Belgian side, I should say, that's maybe where we're looking at. And at least it means that Leeds have strengthened a little bit. I don't think there's going to be any more activity, to be honest with you. I mean, even if a right back is done, I would be relatively surprised. I'm not really wowed by it, because I'm almost like, oh yeah, that sort of needed doing. You know, that's a sort of the armour that we needed really within this battle. So yeah, I'm okay with it. I would also like another addition. Yeah, it'd be cool to get another centre back. But I mentioned yesterday, and we spoke about it down at the ground with a load of Leeds fans. You know, now Charlie Cresswell sort of being reintegrated, I can't imagine Leeds do another centre back. To be honest with you, I'd be very, very surprised. And obviously, if Hashioka can play there, if he can be a bit more versatile, looks like a big lad as well, then we'd maybe see him in that role as well. But guys, as I say, SofaScore has an entire profile on Hashioka. You can check his games, you can check his percentages, you can check his his facts, everything. You can probably check where he was born, his postcode now. It's that detailed. So make sure you do so in the link in the description below. Well worth it, subscore, free download. And make sure you like the video as well, everybody. What do you think on Leeds getting this right back? And that probably it being wrapped up. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Head on over to the Patreon for some additional content. I'll see you in a bit. Cheers.